Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Reflections of a Former Practicing Sangoma. And today, this is the last vlog for the year, and I'm actually giving testimony about something that I didn't think that it had slipped my mind, right? So, um, I used to inhale, I used to take tobacco through my nose. So I used to inhale the tobacco through my nose. Um, and it is something that I did for a very, 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 very long time. How I started was years. I think it was in 2011. Yeah, 2010, 2011, around that time. I had a dream of my aunt who had recently passed away. So it could have been 2012, 2011, 2012, because my aunt passed away in 2011. I had a dream of my aunt. And in the dream, my aunt was saying this to me. She was giving me a container of snuff. And she was saying to me that there are ancestors. So in this dream, it was my aunt. My mother was in the dream as well. And my mom is still alive. And then there was these three grandmother figures. One of the grandmother figures I recognized. It was my great grandmother. The other two I didn't recognize. But my aunt I recognized. These three grandmother figures are faced away from me in the dream. But my aunt and my mom, they are facing me. And my aunt is telling me, and now remember my aunt has passed. She says to me, these old ladies want to come close to you, but they are not able to come close to you. They have asked me to come here to tell you to give you this snuff. You need to take this snuff so that they are able to communicate with you. Okay, this is the dream. I wake up. I then tell my mother about the dream. I also tell my grandmother about the dream, that I had a dream. This is what I saw. My grandmother then teaches me, I will say teaches me, taught me what I actually need to do when I am inhaling the tobacco through my nose. Now, I'm not going to tell you what my grandmother told me. The reason being is that I now have come to realize that this is a spiritual doorway. So if I tell you what my grandmother was telling me, I'm teaching you how to open the spiritual doorway, which is what she was doing. She was teaching me how to open the spiritual doorway. And in my family, both maternal and paternal, so on both on my mother's side and on my father's side, the inhaling of snuff is a normal thing. In fact, it's a normal thing in a lot of black families. A lot of black women do it. It's normal, right? But hey, my grandmother goes and she's teaching me how to do what I need to do in order to communicate with these women in the dream who say they need to get close to me and they are not getting close to me. I'll also have you know that at the time I was unemployed. So I wasn't working. So I am now actively inhaling this thing. I'm getting better and better at it. I'm no longer sneezing like crazy. I'm actually starting to feel very calm whenever I take it, which is the addictive nature of this thing. So if you take this thing, you know it has the ability of making you calm. It also has the ability of clearing your mind, and you are able to focus on a task, and you are able to bring your thoughts. You are able to literally command your thoughts. So that is why a lot of women like to take it. Okay. So my grandmother teaches me, I'm implementing these things. And I remember the one time I am sitting outside and this thing is about to finish. I'm no longer working, right? And I take it. It's like the last one that I have. And as I'm taking it, I'm doing what my grandmother is taught me. So I'm communicating with these dead spirits, and I'm telling them, this thing is about to finish. Y'all are giving me this thing so that I must communicate with you. How am I going to communicate with you when I don't have the money to buy this thing because I don't have a job, and you all know I don't have a job. And I think literally after I had that conversation, 2 days later, I got a job. 2 days later, I went for an interview. And when I went for the interview, the boss was not there. And I almost gave away what I do for a living. The boss wasn't there, and there's something that needed to happen, and then no one could do it, and then I ended up doing it, and then that's how I got the job. All right, and then 6 months later, I actually got a better job. So now I'm like in it, right? And guys, you must remember at this time, I'm not a sangoma. There's no indication of me being a sangoma or anything like that. Nobody is even thinking along those lines because, like I said, the inhaling of this thing is normalized in my family. It's normal. So no one was even thinking that I'm going to be a sangoma. However, I knew that if there was something that I wanted and I channeled the spirits correctly, I knew this even then. And I spoke to these people the way my grandmother taught me to. Things would happen, things would move in my life. And yes, things were moving in my life. Like I said, 6 months later, I got a better job at a bigger company, made more money, all the things, things started really coming together and falling into place. So then, much later on, like now recently, when God delivered me out of my craziness, I had a dream. So I gave everything else up, right? So when God delivered me, I stopped drinking alcohol. I'll do a vlog about the alcohol thing maybe next year. I stopped drinking alcohol. I'm celibate. I literally stopped doing all the crazy things that I was engaging in. But this particular thing, I didn't stop it. I engaged it. I still did it. But I was like praying to God and all of the things. And like I said, I was actually being delivered. So it's not like God was not coming close to me or answering my prayers, or I was not being delivered out of demonism. But yeah, I still carried on doing this one thing. Then one day, I think I had fasted for 3 days, and then the day after, I had a dream, and there was, I don't know if it was Jesus Christ or the Holy Spirit, but I could see I'm sleeping in my bed, and the Holy Spirit is trying to get this snuff from my hand. So I had it in my hand. I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt. And as the Holy Spirit is trying to take it from me, I keep on hiding it inside the shirt. And the Holy Spirit tries to access it, and I keep hiding it inside the shirt. I woke up from the dream, and I knew immediately that, oh, I need to get rid of this thing. The following day, I threw it away. I stopped. I threw it away. I stopped for about 2 months, but it was a struggle. I don't want to lie. It was hard because I was dependent on this thing. I was addicted to this thing. It's like if you can think about being addicted to cigarette, I was addicted to it. And like I said, this thing is beneficial. You actually physically feel different if you inhale it. If you have a headache, it will cure the headache. It brings your thoughts into captivity. It clears your mind. Also, obviously, now I understand that I know it's a spiritual doorway. I know that this is a spiritual doorway. It is a method that you use in order to engage evil spirits. It is a method in order which you use to communicate with the spirits of the dead, so-called, inverted commas. So I knew that this thing is demonic, right? Because I used it as a sangoma. I mean, I've been taking this thing for more than 10 years. If you think about it, 2011. I've been taking this thing for years. So now I've stopped it and I'm struggling, right? For 2 months straight, I didn't take it, but I was heavily dependent on pills. And then one day I was like, no, man. Now I've replaced the snuff with pills because now I'm suffering a consistent headache. So I bought the snuff again. And I remember when I bought the snuff, it was a Friday. Yeah, it was a Friday afternoon. And I took it for a whole week. And nothing happened. Like, God was not convicting me. So I was even starting to think that, okay, so maybe God is going to allow me to do this thing because he can realize that it's difficult for me to let it go. The Friday evening, then following week Friday evening, I am in the kitchen, my son comes, and now my son knows that I've quit, right? And he doesn't know that I've now relapsed. He can sense that something is weird, but he doesn't know what's happening. And he keeps asking me, Mommy, what's that? And I'm like, I don't know. But I knew exactly what it is that he was seeing. He almost saw the container of snuff, right? So now, after my son leaves, I'm like, yo, now I'm starting to feel convicted in my spirit that, you know what, I'm lying to the child. I told the child that I left this thing and I'm not leaving it. And that part of my spirit is like convicting me. But I still have it, né? I haven't thrown it away. Then I go to bed. As I'm sleeping, I literally feel the presence of a demonic being laying in the bed with me. And I don't know if I've shared this, but I struggled with a spiritual husband for years, even as a sangoma. I struggled with a spiritual husband for years, for years. It is one of the reasons that actually ended up leading me to my Gobela, the one that was invoking the marine spirits. Anyway, so I can feel that there's this being lying in the bed with me. However, it can't access me, but it's close enough for me to feel its presence, right? And I woke up from the dream and I knew instinctively. I was like, it's the snuff. I need to throw it away. I need to leave this thing at the door because this thing is a spiritual doorway for the spiritual husband to have access to me, right? Why am I telling you this? It may not be snuff for you. For you, it could be something else, right? And you need to know that even those little things, even the small things or the things that look little to you, appear to be small things to you, could be big in the spiritual world. You know, the Bible talks about it is through knowledge that the people are delivered, right? So that's why whenever I learn something new, I have to share it so that you are able to implement it in your life. It could be alcohol for you. It could be cigarette for you. It could be dacha for you. It could be whatever it is. It could be makeup. It could be whatever it is that God is convicting you on to give up, and you are still holding on to it. And while you're still holding on to it, you are not seeing progress in a particular area of your life. It is a result of you holding on to these things, because these things, though small they may be, they create big spiritual doorways for Satan and his demons to have access to us. And the Bible also speaks about it is the lack of knowledge that it is through the lack of knowledge that people perish. So we need to be aware of all of these things, right? I am here to say that I have stopped taking snuff, and I didn't even realize I stopped, right? Because I just stopped. And then, like last week, I was visiting a friend of mine, and I haven't seen her, I think, in 6 months, 7 months. And while I'm visiting her, she's expecting me to say, Chomi, let's go sit outside because I want to take snuff. And so now I'm not doing that. We're interacting, we're talking, we're catching up. And then eventually she says to me, do you no longer take snuff? Do you not want to go outside? Ulotuba. And then I realized, I'm like, no, Chomi, I will no longer do this. I haven't done this in months. I'm like, I didn't even realize that I had quit. Until she brought it up, I didn't realize that I had quit. I don't know how long it's actually been. I mean, I can't even because, like I'm saying, when I had that second dream, I immediately threw the thing away and I was like, I'm no longer going to do this. And I only realized it when my friend was like, do you not want to go do this? And then I realized, no, I haven't done this in months. And I no longer have the desire to do it. And I no longer think about it. I no longer suffer from the headaches. I mean, literally, God has literally delivered me from this thing without me. I mean, because I'd been praying for deliverance. This is one thing that I was not particularly praying about, but God actually came through. He did it. And I didn't even realize that God had done it until a friend of mine said to me, "Listen, do you not want to go do this?" And then I realized, and I was like, "No, Chami, right?" And I wanted to share that because I believe like that is just such a positive story of deliverance and God coming through. And like I'm saying, we are now going to enter the festive season. We're going to be exposed to a lot of our friends. We are going to be exposed to a lot of things that when we're alone we are able to resist, but maybe when we are with our friends we're not able to resist. And I just wanted to encourage you that the things that God has told you to let go of, let them go. Let them go. Anyhow, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, please subscribe, please share, and I will see you on the next one.